Hello RC fans, Racing 393. Another update video for the race meeting, the first club meeting I've done for ages at WRCC, that's Wycombe Radio Control Car Club. So various videos have come out of the build up to this, of me prepping the car. I've actually got two cars, so I've got the one you see here, the LMP12 by Schumacher, my Eclipse 4. I was also preparing a mini, Mardave Mini, however, now I've been to the club and seen the minis that they use, they're pretty much miniature style LMP cars. With that I mean they've got springs in them, got a rear pod. I think, from what I can gather, they've all got that. The conversation in the pits from the guys with the minis would suggest that my Mardave Mini, hasn't got any springs. It just becomes it's like the mini stock. I don't even know if they have springs, but anyway. So here we are. That was a very interesting experience. I'll go over more in the video on a voiceover because I did record my racing apart from round 3. I forgot to put the camera on my cap, but yeah, enjoyed it very much. Very helpful. Mark Styles, your star. In fact, every person there that I chatted to, really friendly. I've not experienced the friendliness of a club, as in, and it's from a perspective of I've never been. It would seem, not everyone, because the guy I sat next to hadn't been there before, but the majority of the people seemed to be regular-ish. It's about an hour from where I live. As you'll see by the video, I got there well early. It does leave a little bit to, decide whether, if I left at 4 o'clock, would I get there in time? Because the roads, although it's fairly straightforward for me, it's a really busy part, an hour within where I live. In fact, I know most directions quite well, an hour within where I live. I mean, I'm fairly well knowledgeable on where I'm going. However, the hour in this particular direction, where this circuit is, where this club is, where it's located, I can't remember now. Is it Stonechurch? I can't remember. But I'm less familiar with that area. I've heard of it, but the only reason I've heard of it is because it's an absolute nightmare to drive in on the M40. I think it's the 404M. It's kind of that Reading, High Wycombe bit, and it's So looking at my calendar, just for a footnote, really, I'm not sure I can get back there, other than the test and tune day, which is the Saturday. But the other Tuesdays, I'm not going to have time. I've got work. I've inadvertently booked work in 4 till 6. Well, I'll never get there. 6 till 7 will just never happen. One of those jobs finishes at 4:30, 5:30, 6:30. Starts at 7. Don't know. I'll have to bear that in mind. I'm not sure yet. I did help with this sort of the construction and the loading of the track from the cabin, from the storage unit to the hall. So I assisted with that because I was early. The reason I didn't assist with the pack up, there was people there, and I was going to do it, but it's just late. I mean, it was like gone 10 o'clock, and my worry is that it took me an hour to get home, so I didn't get home until 11. It is a tiring sort of evening because it's the travel, not so much being there, and then you got work the next day. So yeah, I need to rethink how I go about it. But anyway, enough of that. We'll get on to the video, which includes a little bit of a summary of me arriving there, a little bit of a driving montage, nothing exciting, just driving on a road is just something that's interesting. If you don't live in the UK, you can see sort of the type of roads briefly that we're on. We've got the car here, which we're going to move. So I had a few issues. I'll go over some bits and pieces on the voiceover. Two particular, superbly important, unbelievable key points, which I will go over in a little bit of detail. The only issue really I had was the motor wire came off. I know you can't see it, but I soldered it back on. I borrowed a soldering iron, didn't have one on me. And during the final, didn't do as well, but the speed controller lead come loose, and it's there. So I've got to solder that back on. Apart from that, the solid rear axle worked really well. Was it a spool? What do they call that? I call it a solid rear axle. The gearing was pretty standard, which I used anyway. I think I might be able to change the gearing on the back, the spur gear. Might be able to get something out of that. Tyres look a little bit worse for wear. But I'm going to measure these and skip, especially the front ones, and skim them down a little bit. Measure them to what I went out with them with, and then maybe skim them. You probably find the fronts are no good now, but I'm a sucker for getting the maximum out of my equipment. I'll drop that. Anything else? No, it's fairly standard setup as you saw in the previous videos, and I think it worked for me quite well. I'll stick some results up. Hopefully you can see them because they don't look that clear from my phone, but we'll have to see on that one. So anyone out there that's got some knowledge, the 1S LiPo batteries which I use, I alternated them throughout the evening. I'm literally just putting them into storage charge. Should I be doing that? I mean, I don't think they're going to be left like charged, like not well, nearly fully charged. So I've got the test and tune day on the 11th of May. I will probably take the Mini, but it's got no transponder in it. Not that it really matters, just to give it a go. But I want some information about the LiPos. I'm just literally putting it into one of them into storage charge now. And as you'll see in the videos, I'll do a sort of an edited voiceover of the racing, providing the camera, which was on my cap, viewed okay. I'm hoping it does. I haven't seen it at the point of recording this bit of the video. In the final, the lead come off, ironically, as it got to the end of the race, as I got in front of me, and then it stopped, which is a bit weird. Weird as in good timing. However, during the final, it went, what I would say, into limp mode. Now, does that mean it's got the low voltage cutoff kicked in? And maybe I've got it set wrong. Don't know, because it was going round, but not very quick. And it was a fully charged battery, and the other battery hadn't gone. It's only 8-minute races, so it didn't go flat. Unless I'm doing something wrong. More I need to look into, I guess. But anyway, let's in this video, let's jump into the car, as in my road car, and we'll head off to Wycombe for the RC Club event. Right, so we're away then. We're away to this first meeting. First club meeting for a long time. Got plenty of time actually at the moment. I like to be nice and early.
Bear right onto Jubilee Road.
It's only about an hour from where I live. Don't know what to expect.
got everything on me. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. I think I've got everything that I need. It doesn't start, well, it starts at 6.
Keep right onto the ridges.
It starts at 6 and the track gets built.
In 1.5 miles, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Duke's Ride.
So the track will get built at 6 o'clock, and then we've got to help with that. Of course, I don't even know where I'm going to pit, don't know anything yet, so it seems fairly straightforward from the pictures I've seen. I'll just update you throughout the evening. The weather seems to have got into a pattern of looking nice to start with, and then clouding over, and then pissing down in the afternoon. Or, nice and timely for the weekend. You work your guts off during the week, and then it rains at the weekend. It seems to be a pattern. Anyway, onwards and upwards.
Take the second exit onto Duke's Ride.
I'll come back with some interesting facts when I think of them. It's actually a bit further than I realised. An hour. If I finish at 6 o'clock, I don't get there till 7 in rush hour, it's going to be longer, so I need to a bit more planning needed, I think. I might have to work my diary so I finish at something like 5:30 even. I think that would work. 5:30 to 6:30. It should give me enough time to get there. But in future Tuesdays that I want to race, I'll have to sort of a little bit more planning, and to leave the evening a bit freer, I guess.
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto 9 Mile Ride.
M4 towards London. At this rate, Wycombe's miles away, because all the roads so far are pretty quick. Cover a lot of distance. Now coming up to 4 o'clock, and it's 45 minutes. Well, we've got 7 miles now, so we'll cut this one short in the video, and I'll see you when we get there almost. Got some food. So I'll just sit here for a bit.
Turn left, then the destination is on your right.
So here we are, straight into it. This is my first time out in the car for a long time, round one. I've tried to include the times there that I was doing, so I'll just read those off straight away. So I'm miles off, but what I try to do is sort of pit myself against myself, because I'm not quick enough to sort of compete against any other cars. So in this particular round one, I did 38 laps. My best 10, you can see on there is 10.93. It's way off the two guys in front, and then my average was 10.45. My understanding there is if your best 10 is whatever, and your best is near that time, then you're doing quite a good average for yourself. So this was the car going round in like a pre-practice session. Before the actual round one started, and the settings from the car is from the video that I did on my preparation. So if you look back on that video, you'll see what I started with. They're just getting ready now to go, so I'll do a little bit of voiceover when they start the racing. So that's it. So we should hear the buzzers there. So I think I was third one, although I went second for some reason. Although there was a 2 and a 3. I don't know. But what I found here is my car, it definitely was set better, and I was just trying to get out of people's way. I was more interested in not hitting things. That didn't happen. And I also had the solid rear axle on, which is the first time that I've used that. Had the ball diff before. Found it easy to drive, actually, if I'm honest. Hitting the Armco there a little bit, but yeah, but it's not the Armco, is it? It's the plastic, you know what I mean? The barrier, hitting the barrier. So there's a few settings which I will go through on the next round, because I was advised.
Sorry.
That was what's going on there. That I was advised by someone in the pit area that they were watching my car, and apparently it's to do with the adjustment on the straight. I'm trying to sort of keep out of the way and do little adjustments, but the car kind of snatches from left to right quite aggressively. So yeah, so I'm not going to go too much more into this race, because it's purely just me going round but not doing anything. So I'm giving you my feedback. So that'll conclude round one, and we'll move on to round two, and I'll explain some of the changes that I made. So here we are. This is round two. Let's quickly go through the times there. I'm just going to see it myself. So I did improve 40 laps. My lap times were fairly similar again, so still way off. I'm 2 seconds off the guys in front, and one of the main reasons is I know I'm not flat out. The car, I'm not capable of going flat out, and I don't think the car is capable of going flat out either. So I do spend a lot of time trying. They come around really quickly, you don't realise. But one of the main differences I made. No, not one of the main differences I made. What am I talking about? One of the changes I made through someone that was watching my car recommended I look at some settings on my transmitter. Now, I was aware that they were there, but I didn't know what they did. But now I understand. And it's a response curve. It sounds really straightforward now, but thinking about it. But the steering and the throttle have a response curve. Now, when it's set standard, it's like a linear line diagonally going from the corner of a graph 45, no, not 45 degrees. Oh yeah, 45 degrees, straight line. So it's a continuous progression. You can change that, bit of a hop, skip and jump there. You can change that curve, or that line, so it curves convex or concave. Now, if you imagine a line that starts off and it concaves, so it will I'm trying to think how to describe it without showing the pictures. It dips down and comes back up. What that does is the steering... God, it just missed me then. The steering... And that one. Like bullets. Oh, I can't even talk quicker than what they're going. So the steering starts off, and in the mid-range, it slows down. So when you adjust the sort of the middle part of your steering, it actually dampens the steering. And I did find, although my times didn't reflect that, but ever so slightly easier to drive in a straight line. Yeah, the car did handle all right. I think the reason I'm hitting things, my concentration goes. I can't comprehend. I mean, I'm not quick, but my mind's trying to think quick. These guys are certainly not A-class drivers. Maybe they are. Maybe they could be. I'm not saying they're definitely not.
Oh,
I don't know what was I doing there. But they're still miles quicker. So you can see, I can see where I've got to improve massively. But like that, you know, I'm thinking, I think it's because well, I don't know what was going on then. I don't know what I did. I think I had a brain fart. My brain, it mashes itself together, and it might be thinking, we'll go and do a slower class. Well, that might help, but these are great fun. These are fantastic. I love doing these, even though I'm not very good at them. Anyway, that's enough of me banging around like a doozer. We did make some changes. I think they improved, certainly from a driving perspective, and we'll move on now to round 3 did happen, but I didn't put my camera on my head, which is a bit annoying. So I'm not sure whether or not I had I thought I put round 3 in here. I'll try and put it in there. Round 3 and round 4, which I think is, I can't remember, was it 3 rounds? We'll find out. I'm trying to guess now. So let's move on to the next round. And I'll go through some other changes as I bounce the barrier there that I made to the car. So this is onto the final. I changed body shells, but this is round 3's times. So I did more laps, 41, and I did my best lap was faster in the previous round as a 10:14 and a 9.85. So I thought, I could get round there a bit quicker. It's the consistency I don't have. But this is just a bit of pre-practice before the final. As a spoiler alert, I'm not sure the battery in this was charged because it went into like what I'd call limp mode, low voltage cut-off, towards the end of this race, which is either that or the battery's knackered. So I've slept on there the B final. I think I've done that right. Is that right? Race 3? I'll have to look at that. Look at the times. Yeah, I think that's the right what I've done there. So I did worse. 39 in the final, worse, and a 10 and a 10. So I wasn't driving as bad. Although I did feel the car turned better with this body shell on. But I don't know. Might be just me. Probably more than likely it's me. So, and there was only 3 cars in this, and I still managed there to clip the barrier. I mean, Mr. Average, below average. But I've got to start somewhere. Now, throughout the race meeting, I was doing. You don't get a lot of time between races. So tyre preparation and a bit of marshalling. It's such a quick. That's the problem. It's so quick fire. So as far as settings and changes and things you want to do, apart from changing wheels and tyres, there's not a lot else. I'm certainly not going to rush around changing springs, especially when it's probably going to be me, me and myself that's making the car like it is, not the setting. I had changed, as I've said, the response curve Also, the turning ability of the transmitter was different in each left or right, but I did that. And I towed them out a little bit, but I did it by eye with the turnbuckles. I certainly didn't do it on the setup table, whatever. Well, I had that, but I didn't do it on that at all. So I think Mark there is just explaining about the test and tune day that's coming up on the 11th of May. I'm going to be along to do that. I was going to take the Mini. Well, I'm still planning on taking the Mini, but I don't know. I'm not sure if they're going to have a free-for-all, like LMP cars and Minis out together. I don't think that's going to be advisable because the speed's difference. Even some of those Minis are lapping as quick as me. They're not all lapping as quick as me. I don't mean that as in I'm quick, but a proper LMP driver around here is mustard and they're consistently quicker than Minis. But anyway, that's going to be come and go. So good reaction time to the buzzer by me, but then it all starts to go wrong. But I don't mean it goes wrong. Oh, but see how much quicker they are. They're like half a lap quicker than my lap. It's just beyond comprehension. The problem is I'm not flat out. So the response curve on the throttle can be changed. Boop. Bit of a biff there, but you can see there, again, I'm not going to keep this going for long because it's not interesting enough for people to watch, but it's more a case of me giving you my feedback. If you've not done LMP12, then you should really don't do it. No, if you haven't done LMP12, oh, you got the marshal. I didn't even see him. I would consider anybody to that. There's that my favourite bit again. What was I doing? No one hits that barrier. Nobody apart from me. So it's certainly one of those kind of technical classes which does reward consistency and brilliance. And I'm pretty sure that I will get better. And as a footnote, I watched the final and watched the top guys, and particularly Mark Stiles. I can't. I mean, I don't know why I'm going to say this. I've said it before. I cannot believe how accurate he can be. Lap. That definitely wasn't my fault there. Lap after lap after lap after lap. And you can hear the tone of the car around the corner. I was down sort of the other end of the car is now. I was at the doorway there when I marshalled. It's just constant. I mean, when you consider he's on the power, so you go around the corner on the power, you know it's going to grip, you know it's going to go round. Where even the other A finalists, although they're much quicker than, probably quicker than this group, I'm talking about the other cars, they're not as consistent. Where Mark was lap after lap, bang, 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 bang. Anyway, we're not talking about comparing me to Mark. That's a pipe dream, and I doubt I'll ever get there. And I'm not even doing that. I want to compete at the level that even these guys are at. So it'd be nice to be on, maybe not to be lapped, or at least be on the same lap as another car to race. I think that would be my goal. It doesn't matter if it's last place or first place. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not much difference here. There's only, although there's 4 of us on the ticket there, there's only 3 of us there. I think another driver who I spoke to, his name's David, yeah, he's at the bottom there. He broke his servo for the first time he's used his car for like ever. I had a spare servo, but he didn't really want to change it, so that's fair enough. So this car at the end of the race went into limp mode. I still got reverse on mine. In the BRCA, you're not allowed to use reverse, so you have to disable that on the speed controller. And also, another heat, so the second round, which I didn't show, one of my wires came off at the start of the motor, so they just held the race up while I soldered it back on, borrowed someone's soldering iron. And at the end of this race, which you're not going to see now because there's no point, but as it was driving, it went into limp mode, and as it came around the final bit, right where I'm stood there, below my feet as it were, it just came in, I parked up and stopped, end of the race, we got caught up there, look, plastics all caught together. Only 2 cars, we still managed to crash. The wire came off the speed controller, one of them, and it went, as it stopped, it must have just come off. Ironic, because I then, as I went down to the car, I went to try and sort of edge it forward, and nothing happened, but the steering was working, weirdly enough. So that's it. That's my first club meeting at Wycombe. Fantastic track, fantastic club, good people. Looking forward to the next time I do this. Like race meeting wise, the test and tune on the 11th is my next sort of event, because I've got work on the Tuesday. I didn't realise my work's. I've booked working on the Tuesday, finishing at 6. I'll never get there at 7 to race, and I like to get there early. I like to help set the track up, because it's easier for me to do that than to help pack away. I know you might think, well, you should do both. As it says on the website, you're actively encouraged to help pack away. But it's an hour home for me, and I've got to work the next day. So I feel that if I can get there early and help Mark set the track up, then I've kind of done my bit. That's wrong? Is that selfish? I don't know. Maybe he'll listen to this if he listens this far and tell me different. But anyway, that's it. I think I might do a closing, because I want to go over the settings on a slightly close up on the car, just to go over what I started with and the settings that I finished with. It'll be a very quick closing with some car detail. So anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Hope you enjoyed that part of the video. Let's look forward to the next club meeting.
So we brought the car back, and here it is. A bit more of a close-up, which I'll show you. The wire, there is a wire off, you can probably see that. The motor wire there, that one came off. So it was soldered back on, but I might have to go through that again. But the wire that came with the speed controller is this one. So yeah, that's going to be a bit tricky putting that on, but I'm sure we'll manage. Everything else seemed okay. Tyre conditions, so yeah, these ones are probably a bit knackered. I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I might. What I'm going to do is, I might do a little skim on the machine. There's not much left on them. We're going to measure them in a minute, but I'm going to probably put them through the tyre truer, just to sort of skim very lightly off it, and I'll use them again, because I don't know. I want to see whether it's me or is it going to be these, so I can perhaps try this on the test and tune day. The back one stood up a bit better, as you can see here. Put it in the right place. So that's that one, and then we've got on there. So it looks fairly good. So we're going to measure these now, and I'll try and do it in real time. Now, I'm not going to do the ride height, because I haven't got the battery in it, and then the batteries are sort of packed away. So I do need a pen, and I want to put here after the race. It might even be the same, but they do wear, don't they? I mean, race meeting, not a race. Race meet. Right. Let's have a look at what we've got here then. Hopefully you can see that. So, left. Where are we? There we go. Just make sure I've got the right stuff. So, left front. This one. That's zeroed. It's just very light on there. Move it. So that's currently 40.03, and it was 41.27. So that's significantly gone. It's pretty knackered, I would think. So left front, 40.03. It definitely wasn't that when I measured it before using it, so that's interesting. It wears quite a lot, doesn't it? I'm thinking is 40 almost, the wheels are 40 mil, aren't they? There's not much left. If I take a more, if I skim more off, it's going to be even less, isn't it? Right, so we'll do the left rear, which is this one here. This one, so 0. Try and keep it uniform. About there. Same sort of grip. That back one, 40, was it 40.79? Yeah, 40.79. What was it? 41.19. Bloody hell, it's gone down as well, isn't it? So left rear, 40.79. It's probably time to change the tyres, isn't it? It'd be interesting if they've like worn the same, really. So let's do the right front, which is this one. Right, it's all zeroed out. Let's double check that. That's it there. Just on the resistance. 40.34. Right, let's put that down. So that's the right front, 40.34, and that when it went out was 41.11. So it's a a right-hand circuit like they mostly are, which is probably why this wheel wore more. That rhymes. That sounds really weird as well. Right, let's do this, the last one, which is the right rear, which is this one here, zeroed. Try and do the same sort of grippiness that I can feel. That there. 40.97. That's not too bad actually. So if I put right rear, 40.97. So just to sort of, let's move that there a little bit. So after the race meeting, so I did all the racing, all 8 minutes, rounds, a bit of practice, rounds 1, rounds 2, rounds 3, and then the final, B final. So when I went out, just to clarify, the left front was 41.27. It came in on 40.03, so the right height's definitely changed. I haven't measured that, but I will do. I'll probably do that as another, like, leading up to the test and tune day, and we'll do a right height and I'll cover it then. The left rear went out 41.19 and came in at 40.79. The right front 41.11 and it came in on 40.34. So when it went out, the left front was bigger marginally than this side. So it was mainly right hand turns. That's probably a mix actually, wasn't it, to be fair? So a mix of turns, but a clockwise circuit, and it came in with this tyre being smaller after that race setup. Let's do the back. So it went out with this left rear 41.19 and it came in on 40.79. That one was 41.48, so larger when it went out, and it came in on 40.97. So they've actually matched 40.79 and 40.97, still quite a bit of difference, but more equal. The fronts are more worn, so this one will be a very light scuff. and this one very slightly more, and then we'll remeasure them. The back's very light and a very light scuff. I find that quite interesting. It doesn't really matter whether you win or lose. I think understanding this with the car is really important. Yeah, that was really good. So that's my notes there. Is there anything else? I've got the droop to check. The spur, I might even change the spur gear to around there anyway, for one slightly larger, one tooth up maybe. I think I might try that if you can get them. That might be the upgrade I'll do. The pinion is 41s, that will stay the same. It is a spool axle, that will stay in. The ride heights might need to be changed. I will measure that in the next video with the LiPo, because it was borderline, especially this side. That was 3 mil before it went out. So if I skim it and then measure it, it's going to be different again. I might have to change the axle spaces in the back here. Let me look. Tweak station. Yeah, maybe do the tweak station as well. Check the droop and check the track, especially the toe in. I mean, this tyre is like flicking apart here as we look at it, so you're probably thinking change it, don't go out with it, but I'm a sucker for getting the maximum out of my equipment, and I want to compare it with like for like, and not just go out with a completely different set of tyres or whatever and then have a different set of problems at the moment. So anyway, that's going to do it for now. I'm going to leave that there. That's me with my next project. Let me know what you think. Any advice? Any feedback? Anything you want to know if you're new? I mean, I know a little bit now, so I can probably advise you if you're new to it, but there's plenty of people that know a hell of a lot more than me. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video on the test and tune. Cheerio and bye for now.